Now, though, let's finish up the news, the events of today in our segment, My Witness News. Funkhauser, what else is going on in the world?
Well, several media outlets are reporting on Kim Kardashian's daughter drinking hot chocolate for the first time.
Right. So, the next time you wonder why terrorists hate America, remember, someone giving a cup of hot chocolate to the child of a chick who's famous for filming herself nailing Brandy's brother somehow qualifies as news, and then understand why everyone wants to blow us up. What else?
Alfonso Ribeiro?
Yes, Carlton from The Fresh Prince.
Well, he recently hurt his back.
Oh. By the way, if you're a dude who heard this news and immediately started worrying whether the injury would affect his next performance on Dancing with the Stars, now would be a good time to call your parents and tell them you're gay.
Or let us do it for you.
Right? Yeah, no, that would do that. Now that's some radio I'd listen to. I wonder, yeah.
It's been done.
Oh, that would be a fun bit, has it?
Probably.
Maybe. What do you mean probably?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Coming out to your parents for you. Go on.
Toll free.
Toll free, yeah.
Cake boss, Buddy Valastro. He was busted for DUI.
Yeah. The dude from that baking show. Busted for driving under the influence. I think prosecutors are planning on giving Buddy his just desserts. The whole day's been building up to that punchline. After that, it's pretty much downhill from here on in. What else?
Well, John Wayne Bobbitt is in the news. Remember him?
Yeah. John Wayne Bobbitt, the guy who his wife found out. Was he cheating, or she was just mad at him? I don't know. But his wife, John Wayne Bobbitt, in case you're scratching your head going, how did that guy pop into my subconscious? He was a guy who back in the day, I think while he was sleeping, his wife cut off his junk. Just sawed it off while he was sleeping, because wouldn't you wake up for that? The moment anybody touches that area, I am awake, and not just a little awake. I'm all the way awake. And if someone was doing it with a sharp object, what she went out, she must, because she cut it clean off, and he had to collect it, and then it was successfully reattached. His wife cut off his junk. It was successfully reattached, and then
really?
Well, yeah, because he then had he had a starring role in a couple of porn movies.
Oh.
It worked to the point where he was able to use it on camera. I think his porn flick was called John Wayne Bobbitt Uncut or something like that. So John Wayne Bobbitt. Yeah, the guy who had his junk slashed off by his wife.
Yeah,
he's in the news.
He broke his neck in a car accident.
Yeah. Broke his neck. That's serious stuff. I would imagine, though, that he says on the list of painful injuries he's had, the broken neck, very, very distant second. Go on. Let's finish it up.
R.A. Montgomery.
Oh, I was sad about this.
He's the founder of the Choose Your Own Adventure book series. He's died at the age of 78.
If you want him to be cremated, turn to page 27. But if you think he should have a traditional burial, turn to page 96. That sucks. Did you read those as a kid?
No.
I was so into them. I mean, once the digital age came along, it pretty much negated the purpose of them. But Choose Your Own Adventure books were awesome. Really? You never read those, Funkhauser?
No, it missed me. I was a golden book boy.
Yeah, no, this is sort of like a young adult thing. I think most people started reading Choose Your Own Adventures in the 4th or 5th grade or something like that.
Hardy Boys for me.
I liked the Hardy Boys until I found out that, did you ever read Encyclopedia Brown? Do you remember those?
Mm-mm.
Hardy Boys and Encyclopedia Brown, kind of similar, child hotshot detectives. Encyclopedia Brown, his dad was a cop, and when he had a case he couldn't solve, he came home and discussed it with his genius son, and his genius son would tell him how the criminal managed to evade him and who was the guilty party, and he was always right. But it was kind of like Choose Your Own Adventure in that you had to try and figure out the ending. And if your answer matched Encyclopedia Brown's answer, then you were pretty much guaranteed genius as well. It was cool. And it was similar to the Hardy Boys in that it involved hotshot teenage detectives. But I was really disappointed when I found out the Hardy, because I don't know who's credited with writing the Hardy Boys.
Oh, I don't know.
It was like some dude. And then I found out that it wasn't a dude. They were actually cranked out by a team of writers. And the person who wrote the Hardy Boys books, who I'd been looking at for years, going like, man, this guy who's writing all these books that I love so much is so cool. And then I found out that it was basically sort of like hired gun writers, just a bunch of hacks hammering away trying to write these books. And then a pen name was getting the credit and the person didn't even exist. That I remember the first time I found that out. And it was probably the first time I felt like the media lied to me. I was as a kid, I was pissed when I found out that whoever is writing the Hardy Boys books, not a real person. I remember feeling deceived and uncomfortable with the whole thing. So, oh God, when you're learning a language, one of the first things they teach you how to say is, "Where's the bathroom?" Do you know how to say "Where's the bathroom" in any other language?
Donde está el baño, por favor?
Yeah, sí, señor, correct. So this could have been a teachable moment. A couple Thursdays ago, a Spanish teacher at a high school in Southington, Connecticut, which is like 20 miles southwest of Hartford, beautiful part of the world. He showed up to school drunk. What did he do then? He peed on himself and assaulted a student. We'll unwrap that chain of events shortly.
You just know you're done. You're longing for that shining sun. You walk these streets most every day. You're waiting to get washed away.
iHeartRadio shines the spotlight on Van Halen.
The anxiously anticipated album Van Halen 2 was released in 1979, continuing the band's success as Dance the Night Away became their first top 20 single. In 1980, Women and Children First didn't have any charting singles, but was a success on the album charts, reaching number 6. The band supported the album with their first headlining international arena tour and were quickly on their way to being superstars.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Van Halen and all your favorite artists. iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Jimmy Page to discuss what the most important things to nurture and cherish really are.
I was self-taught, but I did have to take on the role of reading music, or I would have got kicked. Well, I could have got kicked out of sessions on the very first one that I did if I'd have been had no discipline, and if because that's what they needed. They needed to deliver. But how important all the academic side was, and how I understood how important that it was, but also the fact that if you have your own character in music and your own personality, and you're lucky enough to find that you can be able to write a few things, then that is so important to nourish and cherish as well.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Jimmy Page and all your favorite artists.
Delivering fascinating subjects, interesting talk, and boobs and fart jokes. AD on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, oh, let's go. Talking that mess, better act like you know. Oh, let's go tonight. Walk away, punk, yeah, bitch. That's right, I know this. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. So walk away, yeah, yeah. You've been talking about me for a long time.
Nobody can figure out what the hell that sound is. We all know it's coming from the computer, but we don't know what it is or what it's all about or how to make it go away.
Biatch.
IT's been in here being like, okay, we think we've narrowed it down to these 3 things, and nobody knows where it's coming from. Like, usually when your computer makes a sound, one of the browser windows or something like that, like, has a little speaker. Like, usually you have some way of tracking that stuff down, but it's been happening, and, like, the morning show down the hall, like, the producer got in trouble for playing it over the air, like, 4 times the other day. He's like, dude, I don't know how to shut it off, and you're asking me to play stuff off the computer. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle, swathed in an enigma.
Biatch.
They said he was a Spanish teacher, came into school fairly intoxicated to the point where he soiled himself, he wet himself. The kids were videotaping it, and he proceeded to either pin a student up against the wall. He did make physical contact with a student.
Teachers are very uncomfortable to talk about it. I know some teachers refuse to talk about it.
To be swept under the rug, it tells me that there's bigger issues.
Yeah, so last Thursday, a Spanish teacher at a high school in Southington, Connecticut, showed up to school drunk, and I don't think the school's released his name yet, but we do know he was so hammered at work that his students noticed it, and they didn't realize it at first. Eventually, they did, because he peed his pants. He was so drunk that he soiled himself, as the voice that's been changed to protect the innocent attested to. And according to his students, he also assaulted a kid by pinning him against a wall. It's not clear if that happened before or after he wet himself. School administrators showed up to the classroom, hauled him out in handcuffs. But they decided not to call the cops, which is an interesting one because, yeah, you know what that means? That means school administrators had their own handcuffs. It's an interesting day and age that we live in when school admin walks around ready for action in that manner. Anyways, the guy's not facing charges at the moment. Obviously, the parents are not happy about it. And the school also won't say whether or not he's going to be fired. All they've said is they're investigating. I don't know. If you pee on yourself and then pin a student against the wall, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you deserve to be fired. Not really the sort of person that we want in charge of young minds. Nope. No, I don't believe that that he is. Speaking of young minds, if you've been unlucky in love lately, take heart. If Charles Manson can find himself a lady, so can you. An 80-year-old mass-murdering dirtbag who's been rotting away in prison for 45 years is getting married to a 26-year-old. Yep. His bride, 26-year-old Afton Elaine Burton. And yeah, she's clearly insane. But, has to be said, kind of easy on the eyes. Charles and Afton got their marriage license yesterday, and I think they plan on getting hitched next month. How do you think it works when a mass-murdering 80-year-old who's been rotting away in prison for 45 years gets married? It's interesting. I'm not a big sort of like death penalty proponent. Not because I don't think some people deserve the death penalty, but what if you got the wrong guy? There's just too many instances of our legal system getting the wrong guy. And if you take a person's life and it turns out they were not the person, yeah, that I think is my problem with the idea of a death penalty. And it's something in principle that I think is okay. But it doesn't allow for human error. And as humans, we make errors. And any sort of like official organization in this country, whether it be the court system, whether it be the any branch of government, I kind of sort of don't trust their efficiency all that much. Call me crazy, but I'm not necessarily of the opinion that the smartest, best, and brightest are in charge of this sort of situation. So, yeah, the whole death penalty thing, that's where it falls down for me. But in a case like Charles Manson, who, look, we know he did it, and he copped to doing it, and he's proud of doing it. Mass murderer. We've been keeping him alive in prison for 45 years. And we allowed him to live enough of a life, courtesy of our tax dollars, to meet and get married to a 26-year-old, easy on the eyes wackadoo. Not only that, Charles and Afton who got their marriage license, like I said yesterday, and they plan on getting hitched next month. Apparently, it's kind of sort of going to be a catered thing, and they get to invite up to 10 people from the outside. And I want you to know that every single time you get a paycheck and look at it and curse Uncle Scam for bending you over without the benefit of lube, I want you to know that when you get a paycheck and go, gee, sure feels like I work harder than that. Part of the reason why